and your heart is hard, there's still hope. And the best thing to soften that heart is what you're doing right now. You've tuned in right now because you want to get a closer connection to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You want to understand it better. It is this Quran that made the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam better in the month of Ramadan. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was the best, became better in the month of Ramadan. Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhuma, who was a young boy, he describes the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam as being the most generous of all people. But he says that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was even more generous in Ramadan. What's the reason? Because Jibreel would come to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam every night in the month of Ramadan for yudarisuhul Quran. They would study the Quran. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would read to Jibreel the Quran. So this is the reason why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was even more generous in the month of Ramadan. Wallahi, if your heart is not just like a rock, but like a mountain, if it's like that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is letting us know that the Quran will melt